Hello and welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I'm Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's happening? What's going down?
What's the buzz?
What are you doing this weekend? What's the suburban weekend now? Have you had weekend plans?
Last weekend we had a pretty suburban weekend. We met some friends of mine for dinner.
Okay.
Ours, I guess, some friends of ours.
Right.
For dinner.
Is there a moment where you're sitting at the dinner and it's like a double? Was it a double date? Was it okay?
Well, you know, the funny thing about it was like it was in the town that my friend and I are from.
Okay.
So we neither of us live in that town anymore, but it's kind of in between the two of us at the moment.
Right.
So we met for dinner in the town that we both grew up in, and we're like walking past the store. I'm like, that's where we would buy alcohol, like with a fake ID. And like it's so surreal to be back here as like the grown-ups.
Yes. I don't think you ever get over that.
Right?
I think that's like a big, like, right? Don't you think, like, I'm asking these questions as a 38-year-old.
Yeah, it feels.
Going, what's it like? You're on a double date? Like, I think we all, or I guess I'm asking, you rise out of your body and you're like, wow, we're like adults.
When did this happen?
When did this go down?
Yeah,
right.
It felt very surreal in that way. But that was also the first time we had gone out to dinner with anyone on Long Island. So.
Well, this is a lot like when you go into the work world and you start interacting with people in the office and you realize, oh, everyone's here an idiot too. Like
right.
We thought the adults were the adults and we were the kids.
They knew everything. Yeah.
They knew everything. They were right. There was the hidden answer to the question we were all trying to figure out. And it's like, none of them had the answers.
Well, it feels like you're like playing pretend until you're like deeply enough in it that you're like, okay, I guess this is
right.
really happening.
I'm sure people who are listening with kids are saying the same thing. Like, yeah, there's moments where you're like, I'm a fucking mom.
Right. How did this happen?
Right.
Who let me do this?
And the kid's like, where do stars come from? And you just want to be like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't know. I'm afraid of aliens too.
And that's the Jared Freed Guide to Parenting.
Right.
Gentle Parenting by Jared Freed.
Little SFU.
Yeah. And then we went to the movies on Sunday. That was fun.
The movies.
I mean, you could do that here.
I could.
In the city. But
what movie did you see?
We saw Air.
I heard it's fantastic.
I really liked it. They somehow managed to make a movie about like 2 hours of a movie about one business meeting, but it was good.
Ben Affleck did that about one Get Him Out Argo.
Yeah, that was great too.
Argo was a watchable. Something like I remember watching Argo and being like, "This is a good sandwich." Like,
very good.
It's not fancy. It's not beneath me. It's a good sandwich that satiates me. And I've heard the same thing about the reviews from Air. Just like it was a nice time at the movies. I left it at that. Right.
It was really I enjoyed it, and it was nice to see it in the theater and be paying attention. Matt Damon, great.
Seal of approval. The U Up seal of approval.
Yeah.
Plug City.
Jason Bateman. Great cast.
Good crew. Bateman. Jason Bateman, I see him on screen. It feels like a little bit like a warm hug. Like I'm always
relaxing.
happy to see him on the screen. Yeah. Paul Rudd kind of has that feeling on me.
Yeah,
too.
it's soothing. Just his presence.
Right.
Yeah.
You're in good hands.
I wonder if it's like that in real life. You should see it.
I'll go see it. I go to the movies on the road.
Oh, you do?
It's like a road activity. Like you kind of like when you're in a town that you don't really know, or maybe like a boring town.
Got a few hours to kill.
Hours to kill, something to do, just get you out of the hotel. I'll do movies on the road. I get my nails done on the road. I get my back waxed. Yeah, of course. Manicures. That's like my number one road activity.
Your nails do look great.
Thank you. Pedicures, manicures, back wax. I mean, not to I don't know if they're still even sponsoring, but European Wax Center. I literally
a near and dear sponsor of our hearts.
I can't tell you how much of a road activity that is for me. I flop in, flop out. I'm good.
Got an hour to kill?
Right.
Why not? Yeah.
I'm going to Florida this weekend, visiting my parents in Boca.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be nice. Great time of year to be in Boca.
It's perfect. Because then I'm going to Europe. If you're listening now, I'm in Europe.
Wow.
I'm at the tail end of my trip. I'm coming to Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Berlin, and Oslo. So if you're out there and want to come to one of the shows, there's still tickets available, I think, except for Berlin. But I'm gonna just go hang for the weekend in Boca.
And your parents are coming to Europe, right?
No, they're big talkers.
They didn't
not
wind
a
up
big
pulling
walker.
the trigger?
No, maybe we'll come. It's always maybe we'll come, and I'm like, come. Listen, I'm not gonna book the tickets for you.
Are you upset? Did you want to go?
No, my close friends are coming from New York actually for the London shows, and we're gonna do we already have a bar crawl set up for actually today.
Well,
so if you're
DMing
London,
Jared when you hear this, he might be wasted.
Hammered.
Yeah.
So yeah, we plan on doing a pub crawl of sorts. It's coronation. I'm there for coronation.
That's gonna be great.
I'm
it's
crowning the king.
Maybe King Charles will come to your show.
I would love to have him.
Yeah.
Do you know he once a week eats vegan for
Says
the
who?
environment? That's a thing.
Says who?
Says Daily Mail. I don't know. I fucking know.
I believe it.
I don't know.
I watched The Crown.
Do you?
I do, and so I have mixed feelings about formerly Prince Charles, as he's referred to in The Crown. Because he seems like kind of a dick, but also has some redeeming qualities, which is why it's a great show.
Right.
Because you're not
Antihero.
you're not all one or all the other way. But that's a great show about dating too. You've got Princess Diana, Camilla, Prince Charles, love triangle.
The triangle.
Yeah.
Don't they go through different eras of the?
They do.
Of the whole
it's
thing.
such a well-made show. I love it.
Well, I gotta say, I think most royals have that. You have the mixed feeling about all royals, right?
Right.
I like the Prince Harry thing, like him going on a book tour. Like I'm like, ugh. Right. That's I have the same South Park did a great job.
I have worse feelings about Prince Harry and Meghan than I do about most of the other royals.
I think it's like a spectrum, though. I think all royals, you're like, okay, you're the most obvious form of nepotism.
I mean, it's not really trying to be anything. It's pretending to be anything it's not.
Yeah, they're not faking. They're not lying to you. But I guess that's why Harry and Meghan are so loathsome.
Right.
Is they are an element of faking and not admitting
right.
When you go and say, well, I'm done with that. I'm done with the royalty. And you wipe your hands clean and then you go on the road and you're like, come
your
see
whole
us.
thing. Yeah.
And you're like, well, why? Well, we were royals. You go, well, you don't want to be anymore.
Exactly.
Why should I be interested?
You nailed it. That's the it's just they're just frustrating in that way.
They are frustrated.
You want to you want them to just admit it or acknowledge it.
Well, what they're not acknowledging is
the fact that no one would care about them at all if this wasn't the backstory.
Right. And if it wasn't for the timing, there was no exit for a lot of these royals until social media came up.
Right.
So they were like, oh, we have an exit. We can make our own money. We can sell Fit Tea over our Instagram. And that's the answer to the question. We can make an Instagram account, have 1 million followers. We are in the follower economy.
Just by being who we are.
Just by being us.
Born into this family.
Right.
Yes.
And you go, they're like, we don't have to pay taxes on all that followers we got.
Is that true?
You start an Instagram account, you don't pay.
Yeah, but I don't think they have those kinds of I don't think King Charles is doing Fit Tea ads.
They're doing something. They started a podcast. They were doing.
Oh, they do. I'm talking about them who left.
But I'm saying when they leave, I would assume a lot of royals in the past that were like, I want out of this family. I want to do my own thing.
Right.
It's like, where the fuck are you gonna go? You're gonna be a poor person,
right?
You're gonna be one of us
lawyer?
feudal. You're gonna go have to work. And if your whole life you didn't work, they go, oh, wait a minute, there's this other world of kind of working, that I can enter into.
And work by not working.
Right.
Yeah.
I could put some cameras on us.
Fork.
We'll do a Kardashian thing.
Fork, as they call it, faux work.
Faux work.
Yes.
Fork.
Yes. And you get to still live in a $15 million house in Montecito.
Right. So it's like you didn't really have
to
go
write a book
down.
about how bad your life was.
Right. How you were slighted by, you didn't get the king. So I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, maybe King Charles will, after his coronation.
Right. Maybe he hates his son too and he'll show up.
Yeah.
He heard this. Well, it's already over. Maybe he'll come to my pub crawl.
That would be amazing.
I'm going to be wearing a king's crown, a scepter, a cape. Hear me, hear me.
Maybe you'll get William in there.
Hear me, William. Come on out.
Or one of the extras. The extra cousins.
The extra.
The cousins and shit.
That's what they call themselves.
The ones I don't really, you have to be like a super fan to know like the whole family tree. I know like 5.
Some people love the Royals.
I get it. It's like cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool. That is it is interesting.
Yeah.
That's the hard part to not admit.
We should do a breakdown of if you ever watch The Crown, we should do a Charles, Camilla, Diana.
I would love to. Did you watch Love is Blind? I know you were a fan back in the day.
I watched season 1. I haven't watched since.
I think this is a good season for you to jump.
You think? People seem to really like it.
Season 4, we just did a recap on Betcher Podcast, so if you've binged it already, you can like listen to Kay and I kind of pop off on it. But yeah, I enjoyed the season. It had a nice ending, a fun ending. The Nick Lachey, Vanessa Lachey thing at the reunion was wild.
Maybe I'll watch. I just didn't think it could get any better than Jessica 34, Mark 24.
Jessica 34, Mark 24 is something that will be tattooed to my brain.
Right. And I'm like, could it get better? I don't know. Was it better than that?
You know, the pods suck. The conceit of the pods is boring. I get why this is why the show's interesting, is these people now see each other, and then I think the show really starts when they get to Mexico.
Okay.
And they figured that out. So they like went real short on the pods, you get out of there, and then
you're like, oh, I'm gonna marry this person, and we're on.
Here's your phone back, and here's the person you never had to see.
Yeah.
Go.
Remind me, do they get married right after the pods or at the end?
They get engaged right after the pods. Then they go to Mexico on a trip with everyone that they just went on dates with, if they found a partner, if they found a chair in this genitalia musical chairs. And then they go and move in together into these homes that Netflix provides. And then they decide
if we're going to
it's
get
all
married.
leading towards the wedding day where they say yes or no.
Yeah.
Which is an insane thing, because some of them are like, I'm not sure. It's like, you're still not sure at the bridal suite. You're still not sure at the groom suite. Like,
I mean, do you find that surprising?
I find it surprising that you're willing to like get friends and family together till the last possible second to maybe say no.
I guess that's sort of the nature of the show, though. Like, that was the pitch before.
Right.
And your family probably already knows that. They probably seen the show and they're like, well, there's a chance we're just here for the food.
Right. And I guess that's why they're so weirdly attended. All the Love is Blind weddings look like people waiting for the bus. Like there's like 10 people there.
Well, imagine like your aunt calls you and she's like, so your cousin's getting married, maybe. Like, if you're in town,
you can come.
You can come, I think.
I would want to know how much they pay for. We're not really sure
if it's going to be, if she's definitely getting married, but she might. And so if you want to come.
And it's part of this show.
Right.
You might be on camera.
Also, yeah. But if you still want to come, like, let us know.
If I would
go.
Yeah.
Of course you would go.
Well, you know, we did have this discussion on the podcast. Like, would you rather the Dome of the Undateables for The Bachelor, the live studio audience of The Bachelor finale, or you go to all 4 Love is Blind weddings?
Or what do you do with the people from the Undateables?
You just cheer for, you get
You're
to be in the studio
them?
audience. You're in the studio audience of The Bachelor finale.
Or you go to all 4. Are they like
all 4
spaced
weddings.
out or the same weekend?
You got to go to a month of weddings every Saturday but you're going to see a wedding that might not happen, which is fun.
Right. If it were like didn't require too much travel, I think I'd go to the weddings. It sounds
the
fun.
weddings at Ohika Castle on Long Island.
I'll be there.
You're in.
I'll be at everyone.
Done.
Yeah. It's expensive. It's an expensive venue. Food's probably great.
Have you ever been to a Ohika wedding?
I haven't. Have you?
I have.
I know that's
great venue.
That's where Taylor Swift filmed her Blank Slate video.
Right. So for those listening at home, this is like a castle that is on Long Island where people have weddings.
Yes.
And I guess it was self-explanatory before I explained it. But if you want to see it in Taylor Swift's music video, I've been to a wedding there. It is a unbelievable venue.
It's beautiful, right?
It's beautiful. Yeah. You even driving up, you're like, what the fuck?
If anyone's listening and they're getting married there and you invite Jared and I, we will be there.
We'll be there.
Yes.
If I don't have shows, I'll show up. I'll eat your food, especially if it's an Italian wedding. I think Italians nail the wedding.
Food?
They know wedding food more than anyone else.
They know most food better than most, yeah. Italian
wedding cocktail hours are like insanity. Like if you go to a Jersey Italian, like we're on Soprano's wedding, you don't have to eat for a week after that.
Okay, I need to get some friends.
I mean, Marinelli, they don't know. Get some.
No, they're almost Jews. They don't really. They do have good food though.
They're doing cooktops.
I guess
they're doing pass arounds. They're doing charcuterie. They're doing cheese. It's unbelievable.
Right. Well, if you're listening,
you can always tell.
Get us an invite
right.
so I can experience it firsthand. We'll live stream it.
Yeah. You can always tell the Jew at an Italian wedding because they walk in. What? All
so
this
much
food?
So much food. It's very stark contrast from my cocktail hour.
Right.
Anyway.
I won't get into it. Kanahara!
I won't get into it either. It's going to upset me.
Someone wrote into Oversharing.
Oh, yes. That was on
about
yesterday.
rain at the wedding. I listened to it.
What did you think, Jordana?
She was like all worried about having the perfect wedding. And then she gets to the end of her email. I know Jordana had rain at her wedding. So I'm willing to I'm really wondering what she thought of her experience with a shitty wedding. And it's like,
right. And it's kind of like, where it's kind of like, or will no one remember any of these things? Except for I remember that Jordana's wedding had rain. You weren't even fucking there and you remember. So
I thought you guys answered that email so perfectly. But like, that's the fun of a wedding is the thing, not the things that go perfect. It's the things that, remember.
Well, this is like, you're taught from an age that this has to be like the most magical, incredible, flawless day of your life. So it feels like a lot of pressure, but it actually doesn't really matter.
I don't have any pressure.
You're just going to show up. Do you think you would be involved in your future wedding planning?
I'm going to judge a lot.
So you're just going to show up and judge?
I'll show up and judge, but I'll be judging along the way.
Right.
I'll give commentary, but it's going to be more.
You're going to be like the worst kind of fiance.
Absolutely.
Where you do nothing, you judge everything, and a lot of opinions with no effort.
That's me.
Yes.
That's my whole vibe. I want that t-shirt. That feels like a boardwalk t-shirt that you buy on the boardwalk.
Zero
a lot
effort.
of opinions, zero help. That's me.
The worst kind of fiance.
I'm great at sitting and directing.
Wow.
Pointing.
If you're thinking about going on a date with Jared, now
I'll be in England yelling "Hear me" all day long.
If you want some of that zero effort,
hear me. Let's get to the email.
Maybe does Charles need a director? Right?
I'd be great. I could be the trumpet guy.
The director for the coronation.
On the way in. Walking in.
A court jester, if you will.
I'm going to wear a court jester
You shouldn't stand outside the coronation. That's great content.
That's good, right?
Yes. Bring a trumpet.
The jester goes to the coronation.
Until you get arrested.
I was trying to bid at one point about how hard it is to remember people's names. And I was saying that every party should have that trumpet guy.
Oh, to announce like
who comes in?
Introducing Jared Freed.
Introducing Jordana Abraham Marinelli from Roslyn.
That would be helpful,
right?
I would, especially for us because we don't remember people that we meet.
That's right.
Right. I think that, I mean, I feel like someone's discussed this or we've discussed this, the Shazam for faces.
Oh my God.
And where you knew them from.
There's a very funny bit. There's an SNL sketch that it's from when Mulaney hosted. And it's a game show where the guy has to just say his friend's wife's name. It's so fucking funny. I've never related more to anything. Like I think I learn my friends' wives' names right around the second baby.
Okay.
They've been dude, man, bro, chick to me for a long time.
Well,
I care about them very much.
Are they the ones that are coming to London?
Who? Yeah, what's her face? Yeah, she's coming.
I think second. And you know they're there to stay. You don't want to get too attached for no reason.
Right. I don't want to get too involved.
Exactly.
Listen, if you're out there listening, we have live shows.
Yes.
And we do a lot of this, a lot of coronation talk, a lot of royals talk.
A lot of saying which weddings we would like to go to and which we would not.
Right. You Greeks, no need to invite me. Long ceremony.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Everything.
Orthodox Jewish wedding, also long ceremony.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought Jews marry quick, die quick.
Die quick for sure.
Okay.
I think that if it's more religious, there's a lot more prayers.
Greek Orthodox, I mean, they're running around with torches and shit. It's a long ceremony.
Don't invite us to your Greek wedding.
I'm good. A feta stow. That's thank you in Greek.
I was saying feta. Yum.
We do like feta.
We do. May 18th, Chicago.
Right. It's coming up. We're almost we're 10 days away. Come. Chicago, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, DC. Tickies. Get the tickets. UUp.com or betches.co/UUpLive. For our live shows, if you want to be a part of the live shows, send it to uup@betches.com. Title it live show submission. We need red flag deal breakers. We need
Deal reveal.
Dating app makeovers. We need all those things.
Yeah. Even awkward sex. If you're going to be in person, you want to come up for that, we could do that too.
And when someone comes on stage, that makes it great. It's like our episode with Julia. We got you. We can talk it out. We can have fun.
Live texting. It's great. Let's jump right in.
We'll jump right in.
Okay. Hi, J&J. I have a deal reveal that is absolutely haunting me, and I feel like if anyone can help me move on, it's you.
Ooh, I keep texting.
We don't even need the soundboard sound effects. Here's the deal. I've been on 3 fantastic dates with a lawyer. Has anyone on planet Earth ever said that sentence before? Huh? Yeah.
It's very kind of I think someone said that.
Yeah. I mean, lawyers are great. They're very sharp.
I like a lawyer.
Yes.
Hot shot lawyer. She's a hot shot attorney. Even saying that sentence turns me on.
Hot shot attorneys need apply.
Please apply.
We're in our early 30s and tons of chemistry, both intellectual and physical, and had sex/sleepover/coffee in the morning on 2 of the 3 hangouts. He even paid for the first 2 dates, forever settling the most polarizing issue of our time. Does that mean he didn't pay for the third?
Oh.
Good to know.
I guess he's not partner.
When we woke up the last morning I saw him, he kissed me goodbye and said we should hang out when he's back from the business trip. He sent me pictures of his travels while he was away, and we texted throughout the week he was gone. However, when he was back in town, we had the following text exchange, and I'm left really wondering what this all means. All right, let's read the text, and then I'll finish the email.
I'll be him, you be her.
Okay. Did you make it back from blank/depose the satellites? Maybe you'd be up for dinner on Friday.
Hey, yes, I got back last night. It was a lot of fun, but I'm going to need a few days to recover from all the pork and beer and catch up on the work I put off. Looking at my schedule, I'm actually not sure I'm going to have time to hang out before I leave for blank next week. Does it maybe make sense for us to try and reconnect next month when I'm back? I'm sorry for the bad timing. This has been a lot of fun.
Hi, yes, that's totally fine. I'm around next month. I've been having a really great time getting to know you and would love to keep hanging out, but totally understand if it's fizzled a bit on your end.
Okay, excellent. So funny what he's like zoning in on.
Right?
He's staying positive. Got to stay positive.
He's a little too positive.
Right. Okay, excellent. Smiley face.
That was not a... Okay.
Totally understand if it's fizzled for you. Okay, excellent.
Cool beans.
Smiley face. I've had a great time these past couple weeks too, and could definitely see reconnecting when I'm back. Need to know more about how Elliot is settling in. Okay, so that's like an inside thing.
Yeah, okay. And then she says, I felt like I was upfront with him about my feelings, owning my standard, but I also find his response deeply inscrutable. I've noticed his location.
Is she the lawyer? It's inscrutable. Is she coming to the coronation?
That's a good word.
Indubitably, it's been inscrutable and flatulence.
I've noticed his location has changed in Bumble, suggesting he has time to swipe/chat/go on dates with other Bumble ladies, which makes me feel like I've become a stale benchwarmer before we even got started. I've had some sporadic jokey texting about other stuff since the screenshotted conversation, but I have no idea what the right path forward would be, or if there even is one. I really like him, though. I'm also clear-minded enough to realize that I essentially don't know this person at all, and that I'm glad I've had the experience regardless of what progresses. I feel like I've said my piece and I should wait for him to make a move if he's so inclined, but I'd love to a gut check from you, and of course, your help deciphering this man's cryptic words. Thanks for always brightening my Wednesdays and Sundays. Remember, the lawyer in September.
Love the sign off. It's funny. There's like things that they're right about, and there's things that like they've gone down the rabbit hole of negativity.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the idea that, you see them swiping. Swiping is not dating. Swiping is not 2 weeks in with someone. Like, I think he had to make a decision. And he knew, I wrote down, so there's a decision he's making. And it's like a calculation.
It's annoying though. Why didn't he answer her thing about fizzling? Just didn't address it.
Because he doesn't believe this to be so. To him, this is a scheduling thing.
So why not say that?
He did. To me, I mean, he didn't acknowledge. Sometimes I've done this where you just like, that's not even what this conversation is about. I'm not going to acknowledge it. Like, I really think he was like, this, because to him, he's
she's
like,
giving him an out.
She's giving him an out.
Yeah.
And he's saying, no, this,
excellent.
I'm excellent. Good to know.
Yeah.
He's going, I mean,
but he's not trying to like really like alleviate her concern over his feelings here.
No, I not at all. And it's kind of, I think the non-answer is to let you know he doesn't have an answer to that. To me, like in my mind, he goes, I'm leaving for blank next week. So he was just on a trip.
Yeah.
He gets back. They'd been seeing each other, 2 weeks already?
3 times.
3 dates. So they get done with 3 dates. They have a great time. He gets back from this trip. He goes, if we go out right, again, beware of vacations. So he gets away from it. He goes, I still don't know what I want. I know that I'm not going to be able to figure out in a week. But if in this week we go to 4th date town, this is going to be more serious for me. And I will be saying something with my actions that will be not exactly true.
Okay.
This is a calculation I've been doing a lot. So that I kind of relate to this as far as like.
But you usually will end it instead of like,
right.
I'm super busy. Let's catch up next month.
Right. I'll go the route of closing a tab. He basically was like, I'm going to keep this tab open-ish. Like, I think, to me, like, there's an honesty in being like, I'm going away again. I'm not starting a relationship right now. Like,
That's not what he said, though.
No, he didn't say that because I think he's giving himself the opportunity.
Right.
To
keeping his options open.
Re-engage a month from now when he can actually put time into this. I give him more empathy than maybe some people would give him.
I mean, I don't think that he's done anything wrong besides not addressing the fizzling out part. He's sort of like wants to have his cake and eat it too.
Well, I guess
just like address. She's been being vulnerable, saying if it's fizzled for you, just let me know. And what you're saying is it kind of has fizzled a little bit for him. But he's not so out that he wants to not have her as an option when he gets back to see again.
I guess I see.
Why not just say, like, I'm a little busy for dating right now. If that changes in the next few months, I would love to pick this up.
Right. Yeah, that's a better way to say it. That's a more direct way to say it. I guess when I was like reading this, I wrote this down. It's a decision between being a bad situationship or nothing, or a boyfriend. That's, I think, how I would see it.
Okay.
Where it's like, we go on this 4th date here in this 1 week that I'm here between the weeks I'm away. We're not together, and then we end up maybe having sex, and we're in 4th date land, which is, I guess, is in the grand scheme isn't that difference, but for this guy, it seems it is.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull away. I'd rather not do this thing where we are situationship for the next trip I go on. So I'll put it off and let them make the decision to leave me or, and be nothing with me. Or when I come back in September, I'm going to re-engage with my thoughts and I'm going to see if I could be a better that's like the best case scenario,
that seems reasonable. I get that stance. It just kind of, for her, it leaves her in this weird position of like, okay, he hasn't said he doesn't want to see me anymore, but he's also saying he doesn't want to see me right now.
Right.
So like she can either, if she's like had fun with him, I could see why she'd be tempted to just keep talking to him and then like wait around. And she's probably, if she's really into him and they're sleeping together, she's probably not going to be that invested in going on other dates.
Right. Well, that's the problem is like he's not making her problem his problem.
Right. And
that's annoying.
That happened. I feel like that's the very common occurrence in these dating situations where it's like one person isn't like a demon, but they're also just doing things entirely for their own mental state and not considering the other person's really at all.
Right.
And the question is, I guess, like, what do you owe someone that you've been on 3 dates with? Do you owe them, exact clarity on all of your thoughts surrounding the situation? I don't know.
I think you do when, now I'm getting more towards her side of things. Because the minute she says her
Is
feelings,
it fizzled? Right.
the fizzled
I'm having
things,
a great time. I would love to keep hanging out. If it's fizzled, I understand if it's fizzled a bit on your end. She's giving him the opening to be more real with him. Right. I think this text that she sent would give him a great opportunity to step in with something like, hey, like, I'm really busy with work now. I have a lot of trips coming up. I don't really feel like I have the time or I'm in the place to give this, whatever we have going on here, the energy and the momentum that it needs. If you're still around and single next month when I'm back, maybe we could try it at that point.
Right. And that's a harder thing to write, but probably the better thing to write.
I don't think she would have been insulted by hearing that.
No.
She said, if it's fizzled, I understand. And this is like better than it's fizzled. This is like.
Sometimes I would hope to get this text from someone. Like, I've been in positions where, like, I deleted Hinge the other day. I feel a little bit freed by that. I also feel a little bit freed by the Europe trip that's coming up. Like,
no pun intended.
That's right.
Sorry.
Like the 13 colonies.
Freed.
I feel freed by I don't know. The more I go into this, the more horrible it gets. I was going
to say because your last name.
Oh, freed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is my name. So
Oh, you were talking about like free. Okay, I was talking about your last. I feel freed.
I feel freed. I feel like a freed.
That did not flow as well as we had hoped. Okay.
No, listen, sometimes we miss here.
It's okay.
Point Reddit.
13 I was like, 13 colonies. What? Are you?
The Redditors are right about me. I've lost a step. I feel more available to the whatever happens. I think like when you have these trips
right.
and
you don't feel like you owe anything to anyone or like like you said, the momentum of we've gone out. When are we going out again? Right.
And having deleted the app and kind of thinking about like these 2 weeks before I go, I'm not going to go on the date, like
cleaning house. Yeah.
Cleaning house and a version of like, you got this trip coming up. Go have fun on the trip. Like would you feel, of course I'm open to like walking down the street. This is the scenario you get. You go, of course I'm open to walking down the street and the love of my life walks up on me. It's like, that's never going to happen. But you go, you're open, but you're also done trying. And that's why I'm putting myself in this guy's shoes that she's writing in about. And I think it's,
but if you had already met the love of your life and it was this person, you probably would have a different mentality about going.
Right. I guess that's why you got to kind of like let the bird fly away and hope it flies home.
Well, that's why I think he should have said what I suggested.
Right.
About like, I'm being told, she's asking for honesty. He's ignoring her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's unfair.
And then she's now in the position of either having to bring it up again.
Does she send another text? Does she say, because, if we're thinking of the emailer, and their best.
What should she do?
Like, because right now she's in this zone. She says they're still texting.
Right. I mean, if she really wants to like be super direct and real with her feelings and do the most healthy thing that she could possibly do, which I think most people are not going to do this, she could text him, hey, I'm actually looking for like to date. Like pretty consistently. It seems like you're not necessarily in that place. So I feel like we should probably stop speaking. If that changes for you and you're in a place where you are ready to sort of like date with momentum and keep doing what we're doing on like a pretty consistent basis, let me know. And if I'm single at that point, I'm definitely open to seeing where this can go.
It's definitely, I think she has to do that. You got to put the ball in his
court. It's a hard
court.
thing to do.
Hard thing to do. Easier for us to say because he will be Johnny Nice Guy. If you're like, how's your trip? He's always going to respond.
And it's not going to mean anything.
Nothing.
That's the thing.
That means nothing, and it will get your hopes up, and you're going to go, well, he's still answering.
And it's going to stop her from taking other people seriously.
Right. And the same way it's easy for him to swipe. She writes that he's swiping, so he must be going on dates. No. Swiping is not dating. Swiping is him just, again, the gamification. He's at the slot machine playing Bumble.
Yeah.
And in the same way, when you text, how's your vacation from the guy who ignored your fizzle thing, he's just at the casino doing the slot machine again.
Right.
You're the same as swiping, answering your how's your trip and what's been going on and when are you coming back? And so September's here. Like, she's going to get caught in kind of this gamification thing too.
Yeah.
So she's got
to advocate for herself.
Right.
Which is hard to do because you want to be cool and you want to be like, oh, I got my own. I don't need to see you immediately. But like, you're not cool. We're not cool.
You fuck 3 times. We're done being cool.
Not cool anymore.
Right. He's tasted your vagina. Nothing cool about
it's all
that.
All over. Mystery's gone.
Listen.
Anyway.
We solved dating again.
We did it. So proud of us.
Keep sending them in. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Come to our live shows. We're asking for a lot of things, but we give you great entertainment every week.
Yeah. We deserve this. See you next week. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.